Not going to get that championship back by shaking hands, being best friends with the champion. No, I slapped him right in the stupid face. I slid out of the ring, and I let him know my intentions from that point.
He calls me down to the ringside, and we're starting to chat. He's just saying how I'm doing, all that. And then at the very end, he's like, "Hey, you got a match?" I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" He's like, "Yeah, you're gonna have a match." I was like, "That's not normal. Like, why?" And he's like, "You'll be fine. You're gonna do good. You're gonna wrestle Aleister Black. It's gonna be great." I was like, "All right, cool, yeah."
And now, your hosts of the Card Subject to Change podcast, for frequency's sake tag team champions of the world, the Wizard CZ, and never wrong, Nick Bull.
Another jam-packed edition of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the podcast by the fan for the fan. We are powered by Low Pies Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo, and protected by Jared Zuki of Country Financial. And I say jam-packed because Zook, my bad, Zook. We knew we'd mess it up. Sorry. Yep. First one's on us. We got a jam-packed edition here of the Card Subject to Change podcast. We are talking, of course, everything WrestleMania leading up to the biggest event of the year. I am your host, Never Wrong, Nick Bull. Joining me is my co-host, co-tag team champion of the For Frequency's Sake Network, the Wizard CZ. Wiz, how you doing?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited. We got a full house here with some experts to talk WrestleMania.
We got a full house, and I'd be remiss if I wasn't a good guest and introduced everybody to each other. The host of the Fast Money podcast, he's joining us for the first time on the show. That can be found on the For Frequency's Sake Network. That is Rod VIllagomez. Rod, I hope it's okay if we call you RVG. Is that okay? RVG.
RVG. Let's do it. Yes. I'm all right with that. I'll take that moniker.
All right. Welcome to the show, Rod. We're glad to have you. Of course, returning guest from the Educated Ignorance podcast. The podcast also found on the For Frequency's Sake Network. Joe, the show WInkel. Joe, how you doing?
What is up, boys? You know, RVG is one thing, but I am the whole fucking show. So we're here to hang out. And we're here to party.
You're here to finish your story, it looks like. You're not the only one.
Yeah. I don't know where my book is. Oh, here we go. I'm here to finish my story, and I even brought my book to do some light reading. And if you couldn't tell, it's a book of crossword puzzles. So we're here to have a good time and talk some graps, gentlemen.
Also joining us, a friend of the show, returning guest on the show. He is the host of the MLW Confusion podcast. You can also find him at any local indie show, and he's great to strike up a conversation with. Please welcome back to the show, Rob Kamerer.
Hey, guys. How we doing? We ready? Getting the graphs ready.
I can't wait. I can't wait to pick y'all's brains on this big show. And, of course, if you tuned into last week's episode, our latest one, we talked everything independent wrestling for WrestleMania weekend, but back to join us for this guest panel, this celebrity panel, if you will, the voice of SCW play-by-play, the one, the only, Tim Regal. Regal, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. It is Mania weekend. We've already kicked it off. I was just watching some of the Wrestle John show right before I jumped on here. Typical of Mania weekend, it was in a giant one of those event tents, and apparently the weather right now in Philadelphia is freezing and absolutely poor. It's basically what we had yesterday. It is freezing and pouring down rain. So it was a experience. Mike Bailey came to the ring in a giant winter coat.
But no boots, right? He still had bare feet, right?
Yeah, still had the bare feet. Mania weekend is in full swing already.
Keeping it kayfabe, speedball Mike Bailey, but had the winter jacket on. Let's hope the weather is nice for Mania. It is outdoors at Lincoln Financial Stadium. And I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with our newest guest, RVG, Rod VIllagomez. Rod, are you satisfied with the buildup of Mania, and have they done a good job of really getting you interested for the show?
I have not. I don't know that I've seen more violent buildup to WrestleMania. I mean, I've seen some pretty violent buildups, but this is like, these guys are out for blood. This is actually making me think that it's personal, even though we know it's not. I mean, but if I were just an outsider looking in, I'd be like, are we sure this is fake? Because there's a lot of hate going around. And honestly, I don't know how you can go back in the locker room after you just beat the hell out of somebody and be like, man, that was so awesome. Good job, buddy. Good job. Because for me, man, my blood would still be pumping. Like, I don't know that Cody Rhodes and The Rock probably talked after that bus incident out there, but yeah, I don't know that you can shake hands after that. Be like, dude, you got me really good in that one, because I'm getting tossed around like a rag doll.
Whether it's that bus incident or how Raw ended the other night with the weight belt, I mean, my goodness, you had to be pretty good friends if you're letting somebody whack you on the back like that, man. That was pretty violent way to end Raw, and I like how you stated this has been a very violent build for Raw. It all centers around that tag team match on night one with Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes taking on The Rock and Roman Reigns. And Joe, grade The Rock's run right now since he's come back. How has his run been? And this time back is the final boss, the heel Rock that we all love.
I'm glad you mentioned him, because I had a one-liner ready for that. If I had to give him a letter grade, I would give him a U, for as in The Rock since coming back and officially turning heel and putting on the sunglasses and the Versace vest, he has been like a sliding glass door, which is unhinged. So there's where the U is. We talked about this when Cody stepped out of the way and let The Rock enter the back door. The three of us, me, Nick, and CZ, terrible grammar there, but regardless, we talked about in our little text chat about how we all thought that was just a really bad idea. It makes everyone look bad. And then lo and behold, either they were smart enough or they got very lucky enough to realize that everyone hated it, and they pivoted in such a beautiful way. And The Rock is like bought in, and he's bumping like crazy when getting slammed off an announce table on Monday. And The Rock is a maniac, and it's amazing. I can't believe that I was so down as I was. I think we all were like 6 to 8 weeks ago. And now we're 3 days away from everything happening, and as excited as ever. It's pretty crazy to think how far we've come in such a short time.
For sure.
Let me throw this out to the room. Was it a pivot on WWE's part, or did Triple Paul know what he was doing when he had The Rock whisper in Cody's ear? Did he know ahead of time the reaction that was going to get and where the story was actually going to go?
I think this was all by design. I think they knew from day one. I think The Rock knew. Now, there are going to be people that are always going to think it was a pivot. I think they knew they could create a Daniel Bryan type grassroots swell for Cody by going this route. I think when they got to the media event, I think they knew. I think this was the plan from the whole time.
Rob, I got a question for you, since you were with us the night of Rumble for our 100th episode watch party. Punk gets injured that night, and everybody's plans are kind of up in the air. Nobody knows what's going to happen at Mania. Do you think WWE has made the right moves, or do you think they could have done anything better to book these two nights as they've booked them?
This is me being totally armchair about things, because I will out myself early in this, is that I haven't been an avid watcher of the WWE since pre-pandemic. So like I did some studying up to catch up on where we're going so I could be on here tonight. But like I think overall like they've done a good build for it. Though I'm not gonna lie, like I think, especially with The Rock being a part-timer, I think The Rock would almost be better served to help elevate someone almost like an LA Knight or someone that's just like on the cusp of like, being great. That being said, I totally understand why you would throw him in with the Bloodline and Cody and all that sort of good stuff as well. Just because he is arguably like one of the biggest stars WWE's ever had. So you want to attach it to what's going to be the marquee matchup for WrestleMania as of itself. But I just like to see him give the rub to someone else. That being said, of course, I am thoroughly invested to see where this is going to go just in general, and what role Rock is going to be playing going forward, with some of the rumors that him and Cody will have a match via SummerSlam, and just seeing, are we actually going to finish the story this weekend? Is it finally going to happen, or is there going to be, more members of the Bloodline popping up, or is The Rock just going to be salty and come in and whoop some ass night 2 as well. Like,
I'll say this just for viewers, since we have a bunch of people watching. I'm going to say it now just to get it out of the way. If the story isn't finished on Sunday night, I think I'm going to have Nick Bull give me the Val Venus treatment in his garage, and we're going to go choppy on live stream or something.
Whoa!
I might lose my mind.
Whoa!
I need somebody.
Hold that thought right there, Rod. RVG. What if Cody doesn't finish the story? Then what?
So it's funny from a gambling perspective. If you look, all of these guys, all the challenges are all favorites. Like they're all the favorites to win these matches. And so I don't know if the books know something or what, but if Cody does not finish this story, I don't know where you go, because you've built this thing up all the way to the fact where he's got to finish this story, right? And honestly, I think it's bloodline rules. I think it's bloodline rules going into Saturday, because I think the only way that you can let Cody finish the story is finish it all the way, especially since you put Rock into the mix. They have this they don't show gun unless you're going to use gun thing. Don't introduce bloodline rules unless you're going to use bloodline rules the next day, right? You can't.
That's a good point.
Dangle that carrot out there and say, oh, we're going to do this, and then let Seth and Cody win, and then, break the rules the next day. So I think the way this has to play out, and of course I don't write for them and I don't know anything about it other than watching it, is it's got to play out that they lose on Saturday. They get their asses kicked on Saturday, bloodline rules on Sunday, and then the whole roster. And this is the biggest WrestleMania of them all, right?
It's going to be a shit show.
Yeah, you're going to have everybody and their grandmother. You may even have resurrected WWE superstars come out to try to help Cody Rhodes finish the story, but this is going to get the fans are going to come down and help him finish the story, right? This is going to be a big event on Sunday, so they got to close it out the only way they can, and with everybody involved.
That's a great point.
You got to think they're going to finish the story. If not, Philly. They're in Philly, one of the harshest sports towns. I mean, these people boo. These people cheer players when they get hurt. They boo Santa Claus. You got to think they're going to riot in the aisles, in the streets, if Cody doesn't finish the story, right,
and
Regal?
That's why,
right,
interrupt, but that's why I'm kind of psyched if Cody doesn't win. I kind of want to see the chaos that ensues.
Right. And I'm here too. I'm here too. If he doesn't win, like, the internet will melt. The IWC will melt as we know it, and maybe that's a good thing.
My daughters probably won't stop crying, so I don't know what to do after that.
I don't want to be the people that are in Low Pies Pizza with me if Cody doesn't win. But guys, I called it on the Royal Rumble post show that Cody was finishing the story. All before this Rock stuff happened, all before the Bloodline, everything else, I said Cody was going to finish the story. Sunday is going to be a day for finishing stories, because before Cody finishes the story, right here, Iowa Hawkeyes number 22 and Caitlin Clark, they're going to finish the story. Then Cody's going to finish the story. And yes, you said it. There's going to be people coming out to help. There's going to be Jey Uso. There's going to be God knows who else. And I saw this theory thrown out online, and I'm going to throw it out here, that it's going to come down to, as guys are going out, it's going to get left to The Rock as the last guy to get taken out. And who's going to come to take out The Rock?
The final boss, right?
There's another final boss, baby. That glass is going to shatter. That fool is going to roll down to the ring. Stone Cold is going to come in. He's going to help Cody by opening up a can of whoop ass on The Rock.
Oh, my God.
Takes out The Rock. Cody wins. 1, 2, 3. Everybody goes bananas.
If that glass shatters, I won't be ashamed. There will be happy man tears streaming down my face. Just the goosebumps will be bumped out. I'll hold my arm out like The Rock so you can see my goosebumps. And I'll have happy man tears coming down my face if that glass shatters. Oh, my goodness.
Vince Russo will be rolling over in his grave for how overbooked Sunday night is going to be, but it makes sense. So here's the thing. Here's how I thought the tag match was going to go, and I thought of it kind of today. Initially, I thought, all right, who needs to – how do you navigate where 3 of the 4 guys in this match on Saturday night are in your 2 biggest matches the next day, and the other one is The Rock? Who eats the pin and how does it happen? Now, you guys know I always talk about how don't have the match if nobody can lose, right? Because it's just dumb to not have the finish, which they're obviously not going to do something like that. I initially thought, okay, maybe Seth Rollins pins Roman or something, because Seth has kind of been buried in a sense this entire time. He's always made out to look like pretty much the lowest on the totem pole, so it'd be neat for him to get the moment. But Rod did just make a great point. They're not going to tease the bloodline rules thing and then not have it happen. So I'm a moron for thinking that Cody or Seth had a chance on Saturday. Yes, you're right. The Rock and Roman are winning on Saturday, which is fine because then it just builds up. But now the question is, does Cody eat the pin? Probably, right? Rock pins Cody Saturday night, right? That's got to be what happens.
I think that's the next chapter in this whole thing. I think if Rock pins Cody and Cody then goes on to finish his story, he can dangle that carrot over Cody, and then you got SummerSlam on the horizon. Maybe you have Mania next year. But I think Cody has to eat the pin just because of The Rock and the significance of him pinning and what they can make looming out of that. You know, he could just be over Cody's shoulder for the next year. You know,
and
hey.
He's the only one. I'm sorry, I was going to say. He's
Go ahead.
He's the only one that can afford it, too. Not that The Rock can't afford to eat a loss, but you don't want Seth to take the pin because, spoiler alert, Seth is losing Sunday. Like, if he wins, I would be pretty stunned. He shouldn't win Sunday. You don't want to have – you could have – I know the original thought was Seth pinning Roman. I've always liked the idea of Roman when he loses it all. So, because I think – there is a neat story, and I've told you guys this all the time. I think there's a really cool story in the downfall of Roman Reigns, this version of the character, like losing everything. So, like you know, if he lost on both nights, then when they do the Rock match, he actually loses to the Rock with the belt not on the line, and then you like rebuild him in that way. But you're right, it probably will be Cody because he can afford it. Why? Because 24 hours later, he's going to end the longest reigning championship run since you know, Moses parted the Red Sea or whatever.
Rob, let's just assume that Rock and Roman win on Saturday night. How are you booking that ending? How do you see fit that ending on going on night one?
Yeah, I agree with Joe that, you know, it should be Cody taking the fall, especially if he's going to win night two, because again, that adds that extra layer of the story of making Cody the underdog. And like, I also fully agree that The Rock should be the one doing the pinfall as well, because this can branch out in several different directions as well. Just dangling that over Cody's head, like it can also tease some dissension, like within the bloodline, if that's the direction they want to go after Roman loses the title, because like you could have like Rock basically play glory hog to the situation, or in a weird way spear people's elbow, and you could just try to argue that Roman did all the work and Rock just come in straight from Hollywood and got the pinfall on that, leading to some strife in the future as well. So I think there's a lot more creative options for The Rock to be the one to get the pinfall over Cody, especially because, you know, you don't want like, really though, like in terms of how characters work, like Seth would be a great person to be pinned just because like he can do anything and he'll bounce back. Like he's just that versatile. However, I also do think he's going to lose to Drew McIntyre because Drew's been killing it as of late as well. But yeah, and then when it comes to night two, like overbooked mess. But Cody will stand tall, whether they got Austin or not. That remains to be seen. But as you put it, like that would goosebumps and everything for me in my old jaded heart.
Sunday's going to be so disgusting because of how overbooked it's going to be, but we won't care.
No,
honestly, like at this moment,
it's the only time we're looking forward to out of all of Roman's defenses. This is like the only match we want to be an absolute cluster.
Yes. Because why not?
Sober by the time it's even there. I may have overloaded before the match even starts, so we'll see how that goes.
Now I think if you look at the two nights, night one is probably the better booked of the two when you look at the whole matches.
Yeah.
And I know CZ and I have talked about this off air. How much will the Jay and Jimmy match figure into the booking of how the main event goes? Does Jay or does Jimmy get that win so it's pro bloodline early on, and, you know, kind of sending a message early in the night, or does Jay tip over the apple cart and get the win and, you know, give the bruise to the bloodline first thing, drawing first blood?
I think Jimmy gets the win because Jay is clearly the more pushed guy.
Yes.
I think Jimmy gets the win, possibly with some help from Solo, to help A, get the bloodline off going, and then B, when Jay comes out and takes Jimmy out, that is the redemption for avenging the loss that he took on night one.
Oh yeah, and this feud is just beginning, in my opinion. This Jay and Jimmy feud. This is the first of what we're going to see a series of matches in, and with Solo interfering to give Jimmy the win, that sets up Jay to do the same thing that Roman's done, and Jay saying, or to accuse Jimmy of doing the same thing Roman's done, where he can't win on his own. So that's going to set up another match. And maybe Jay comes out of that second match smelling like roses with the win. That only sets up a third match to determine who the ultimate brother is in that scenario. That's just my opinion. I think Jimmy has to come out of this one winning.
Are you saying they're going to have a third and final match to find out who is the most oos?
We got to figure this out, Oos. We got to figure this out.
Yeet and no yeet will be on the line. The loser can never use their catchphrase again.
We're gonna have a Paul Heyman on a forklift match or something. We'll find out
in Philly.
Paul Heyman on
Shut up and take my money.
Go to the big forklift.
Catchphrase retirement match.
The loser has to get their Samoan chest tattoo removed.
Oh no!
I'm sorry. You opened the door.
We've got the wild tag match that we've talked about on night one. We've also got Jimmy and Jay. What else, when you look at that night one card, speaks to you, RVG, as like, I gotta see this match? What's poking out to you on that night one card that really catches your attention?
So to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't have them memorized. So read off a couple of those matches because I'm going to have to go over them. It all blurred to me anyway. But I know that I'm looking forward to the Bailey and Io Sky match. That's for sure. I'm not sure if that's night one or if that's night two.
That is night two. Match one or night one reads like this. You've got Jimmy and Jay kicking things off, at least at the top of the list that I have here. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Dom and Santos. Damage Control against Bianca, Naomi, and Jade. Rhea Ripley versus Becky.
You can stop
Gunther
right
versus Sam. Okay.
That's the one right there. That is the one that I am all about. I didn't know if that was night one or night two, but I tell you right now, I've become a fan of the man. I didn't know why I didn't necessarily like her all that much until I started really, really paying attention to this run up to Mania, but she has just gone, I mean, to me, like, she's built the best resume heading into this as far as the championship in the women's division to take on Rhea. And I mean, Rhea Ripley, she's fine as a character and all, but for whatever reason, I just feel like the crowd is way more behind the man than they are the mommy. So I'm going to be very interested to see how this one plays out, especially because, you know, with Rhea Ripley, the crowd loves her and they get behind her, but it feels like when Becky comes out, the crowd just is electrified. Plus she's got her book, right? She's touting her book. Everybody knows Rollins is probably going to lose. So, you know, somebody in that family's got to win. So, you know, it's just, yeah, I think everything's pointing to Becky in this one. I'm really looking forward to this one play out because I think both of them are fantastic wrestlers in their own right. And I want to see how they play off of each other because we haven't seen that happen yet up until, you know, this run right now. So I want to see how they play off of each other and if this is going to be a really good match.
And I'll pose this to you, Regal. Who in that match needs the win more, in your opinion? I mean, I know where I stand. I kind of disagree with Rod, no offense. But I think that Rhea's going to come away and give Becky a chance to maybe go on a couple book tours, promote her book a little bit, and spend some time maybe with Seth, who might also, after he loses to Drew, be disappearing for a month or two. But Regal, who do you feel needs this win more for the women's world title?
So these two are the two most over most popular women's wrestlers possibly in history. They are the 1A and 1B. Rhea's rise to me has been absolutely meteoric to watch her go from, NXT UK to NXT and now become a phenomenon. I mean, the mommy, everything. I mean, everything from people mimicking her to the obvious social media. Let's just say there was that clip a few weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weekends ago? I could not go through my Twitter feed with about every 3 tweets being that video. And if you know, you know.
Are you referencing the Rhea Stinkface video?
Yes, that would be the one.
I've seen it a couple times.
But CZ, like you said, I think Becky's going on a book tour. I think the Rollins family, as you will, might be taking a little bit of time just to chill for a bit. And I think it just further cements Rhea's, rise that she pins the man. So I think Rhea retains here.
Rob, what are your thoughts on this women's mega matchup? I mean, I hope this opens the show on night one. I think the crowd would just eat up both intros. The crowd's going to be lathered up, ready for a fight. These two want to fight. Where do you see this match going, Rob, between Rhea and the man?
I mean, low key, this has potential to be the match of the night. I definitely think both women will show out, and at least in terms of in-ring performance, not counting drama and all that stuff, like I think it might actually have the potential to outshine the tag team main event. That being said, as much as I would love Becky to be victorious on this, I kind of agree with the group so far is that I think Becky's going to take some time off after this to, do the book tour, amongst other things. And so as much as I would like Rhea's reign to end at WrestleMania, just because I think there's just been too many super long title reigns in the WWE at the moment. And I don't know how many of them are actually going to end by it. Like we're implying they're all going to end with it, like almost. But I guess someone's got to retain the title, and it's out of all of the big title matches that have, that feature the title reigns that have been over a year and whatnot. Rhea is probably the one that's in the most danger overall, but I think she retains.
Yeah, I think she's going to retain. I remember Rod saying earlier that all the champs or the challengers, I think he said were favored. I think if there's one that's going to happen, it's going to be this. I know, and Rob said it perfectly that, and it coalesces in a tweet that I saw like about a week ago where it was like Roman Reigns' 2 billion day title reign has made every wrestling fan think that all these title reigns need to have, 16 chapters and they need to go on for 4 years. But I will also say, I think Rhea, if anybody in these of the, outside of him deserves to have one of these long dominant ones, I think Rhea should, because I would like for it to go another year and we get Rhea versus, they're kind of keeping track of it, undefeated at WrestleMania, Bianca. And you could honestly, if you wanted to, you could main event night 2 with that next year. If that tickled your fancy. I think that would be neat.
Funny you mentioned Bianca there, Joe, because up until 2 weeks ago, she didn't have a match on the card. And you're like, this is a woman they have featured predominantly in the past at Manias, who's been spotless at Mania, didn't have a match, and now she's in this 6-woman match, which I'm glad she is. I'm glad she made the card, but I almost feel underlying this is going to be the Jade Cargill showcase, and she's going to be protected with Naomi and Bianca. But props to WWE for handling Jade the way that they have. They haven't rushed her into the spotlight when she's clearly not ready. She's still green. And I think working here with Naomi and working with Bianca is just going to make her even better and make her even shine more on Saturday night.
It should be good. And the Jade Cargill stuff will be interesting, especially whenever they decide to actually kind of let it loose with her. But yeah, you're right with the whole Bianca situation. A lot of people were thinking initially that they were going to do her versus Jade. I thought that would have been a bad idea. Some people thought that they were going to do her versus Tiffany Stratton, which I think eventually could be an awesome match. But I think
we love Tiffy time on this show. We love Tiffy time.
Yes, we do.
I know. Yeah. Look, I know it's her WrestleMania thing. It's only like 3 or 4, maybe 5. No, 4, probably 4 and 0 or whatever. But it's a thing people talk about, and that's just something that you can just kind of naturally fall ass backwards into, where you could have a woman who's all of a sudden like, oh, you look up and it's like, oh, she's 8 or 9-0 at WrestleMania. Let's make this a thing. And I think someone like Bianca is probably the only woman like big enough to actually be worthy of dethroning Rhea, who's been, I mean, outside of Roman, and you could argue the artist formerly known as Walter, she's the 3rd most popular or like biggest champion. And if you add like Cody in there, she's in the top 5 of most over. People will tune in because of Rhea. So I think you have to have someone like a Bianca end it. Not that Becky isn't that, to go back to that point, but I think if you continue to draw it out with her, let her continue to do her thing. She's just so damn popular. I don't think there's any reason to end it in a few days.
No, I agree, and I'm glad you mentioned the artist formerly known as Walter, because I think that's a great transition into the Intercontinental title match. And Gunther, let me put it to you, Rod. Do you think Sami Zayn is the man to end this run that Gunther has been on?
It feels like it shouldn't be, honestly. I mean, I love Sami Zayn and I love all that he's but I mean, if you have to have coaching to get up to beat the champion, then you probably shouldn't be the champion. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to need a big montage, a big training montage to get pumped up for a championship match, I mean, this is the antithesis of everything that the Cody Rhodes, and I mean, this is like your feel good bubblegum type of a thing, right? But I honestly, I don't think Sami Zayn is the guy to do it. I think that Gunther's probably going to take this and prove that he deserves to be the champion for a lot longer. Because, I mean, look, if it's up to me, yeah, I think he should definitely be dethroned, because that's a long title reign. I don't know that anybody needs to have. Maybe it's just because I came from the era where every championship match was on the line just about every single week on every Saturday. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't feel like Sami Zayn is that guy. I know the pump, and I know that the crowd loves the pop every time he comes out. But I mean, do you guys think Sami Zayn is the guy to take down Gunther? I don't feel like it.
I don't feel like it either.
I have a question for the class. Am I the only one who thinks that the wrong guy is in this match against Gunther, aka the artist formerly known as Walter?
Absolutely.
No, I don't think.
Am I the only one that thinks they fucked that up? And I love Sami Zayn.
I love
Regal,
Sami Zayn too, but we know. Go ahead, Regal. Who should be in this match? I think we all are in agreement on this one.
So, I do think that Gable should be the guy in this match. I think
it's right there. It was.
They've
been telling the story since September. It's right there.
But I'm going to talk about the match that we do have for a moment, which is Sami.
Sure.
And here's the thing. You saw it with the Roman match. You've seen it so many times. Sami is the ultimate Ricky Morton style babyface in peril that the crowd will get behind against Walter, who basically has been built up as an unstoppable killing machine. So I think they're going to have Sami win here, because I think Gunther is going to lose upward. Gunther is going to lose this match, and then he will go up to the next level. He is a future world heavyweight champion, in my opinion. Possibly the challenger for Drew, because the crowd, he's already a quasi, even though he's a heel, he's a quasi babyface, because when you build up an ass kicker like that, the crowd is going to get behind him organically.
That's a good point.
You're right. He almost gets that Road Warrior pop when he comes out. I mean, he's such a badass. He's been built up. And then, I don't know if Sammy's the one to beat him. I agree that Chad Gable, it was right there. They were working, Gable and Gunther were working the house show circuit. And something must have not clicked with them two for this to be featured at Mania. But Gable's the guy to beat him. If Sammy beats him, that's great, because Gunther losing does not hurt Gunther at all. It's only going to move him up. And I think if you want that feel-good moment, like you said, Sami Zayn is that Ricky Morton type character that the crowd just sympathizes with no matter what. You're going to get that big celebration, that big feel-good moment, on night one at Mania.
Can I throw out another theory?
For sure. Hopefully it's not Austin.
Gunther,
No one needs that theory.
Gunther beats Sammy at Mania, but your night after Mania moment, Gable makes the challenge. He wins the night after Mania.
That'd be cool.
I'd
That
be
would
for that.
salvage it.
I'd be down for it, but I hate when WWE does stuff like that, where like we're gonna build up this moment at the pay-per-view, and then oops, it's squashed, and then either the Raw after or the next pay-per-view, everyone they do a course reversal just to give everyone their wins back or whatever. But I'll give Shorty G, whatever it takes to get him the title. But my concern is like when I brought up The Rock earlier and like being used to elevate talent that are just on the cusp. I feel like whoever is the one to dethrone Gunther should be that person. Like Sami Zayn, like we all love Sami Zayn, but like really he's Teflon as well. Like he could take all the losses in the world, and tomorrow, and the next night we're going to be right back at him, begging for him to win. And so like, does he really gain something off this victory? Like, in a substantial way? And I think the answer to that is ultimately no, because he's accomplished so much. Like let's give it, like I think the person to dethrone Gunther should be someone again like a Gable who really hasn't had his flowers yet, or some other, again, somebody that they want that they think could be the future. Is just they just need that little extra bump to get over the hump. But that being said, again, imagine the pop if when Sami Zayn is the one to pull off this victory. Though I say let Sami lose, keep the belt on Gunther till like SummerSlam, and have like a Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan battle between him and Drew. Like I think the crowd will salivate at that one.
Me too.
That would be big time. That would be big time, especially considering that time a year ago they had the Drew versus Gunther match for the IC belt, and Gunther beat him, and then the next year Drew's world champion, and he, that would be an interesting story. But yeah, if Sammy did win, I would love it again, because listen, we all love our favorite,
underdog from the underground. There we go.
Don't make
Exactly.
me sing the intro. I'll sing it for you. I don't even
Listen,
care. Let's go.
If he did win it, I would feel bad, because it should have been someone else's moment. And Gable and our boy AFK Walter would have been like a 12-star best match ever in the history of WrestleMania type of thing.
I know,
because again, they've been the only guy that's even come inches away from beating him is when he got the count out victory in like November. If like they were building to the moment of him being the guy to do it, and they had it was right there, and they went up for the open layup and they shot it over the backboard. I can't believe, and it was the one reminder of they still have those misses in them, because they've done everything for Mania perfect since the whole Rock and Cody fiasco, and that one it was just like, how did we miss this? But I mean, listen, it'll still be a great match regardless. It just sucks because, man, Gable and Gunther could have been the match of the weekend, could have been match of the year, could have been one of the greatest matches in Mania history. And then the moment of Gable getting it and winning it and beating him and being the one to do it, it would have been special. Now, I do hope what happens is kind of what you guys were talking about, is he wins it and still holds the belt when he challenges Drew, or for the love of God, if Damian Priest ever cashes in, or if CM Punk comes back and beats Drew, then Punk can drop it to Gunther like a month later. That's what I hope happens now, because if it's me personally, if it's not Gable, I don't want anyone else to beat him, because it doesn't make sense, I guess, maybe. But maybe that's just me not looking at it from the right lens, which I will accept that take.
I know Rob mentioned that he believes Rhea and Becky will be the low-key banger of night one. This is my vote for banger of night one. I just can't even imagine how much punishment is going to be handed out. I mean, Sami Zayn takes an ass kicking with the best of them, and he is going to take a grade A ass kicking here on night one, win or lose. He is going to get his ass kicked, and it's going to be glorious for fans to watch. I mean, I love Sami, but he is going to get his ass kicked.
I feel the chops now, and
Yeah.
they're like 3 days away, and I think there's a handprint or two. I don't know.
I have this image in my head of Daniel Bryan and his chest from the beating he took a few years ago. That's going to be Sami, only much worse.
Oh, what we need to do is see if someone gets a good picture of Sami after the match is over, or like an hour after the match is over, and compare that to PCO when he had his Renaissance, where he came back and looked all tore up because of Walter.
I was just about to bring that one up. The Walter versus PCO match from it, I believe it was Joey Janela's Spring Break 2, where PCO's chest after facing Walter is just this black, blood bruised, insane mess, and that's what I believe Sami's going to probably look like at the end of this match.
Oh, and PCO's 250 pounds. Like, he's got 40 pounds on Sami Zayn. Like, Walter's just going to chop him in half. Like, literally, he's just going to bend at the waist and snap in half.
CZ, what else on night one have we not covered yet that we need to cover?
There's a couple that we haven't covered. The big one, though, is the six-person tag match, or the six-team ladder match. That's just going to be a war. I don't know if you guys heard on Monday night, but Michael Cole was very pointed to say that the match will continue until both sets of titles have been retrieved, which leads me to believe that there's going to be a split, and the SmackDown and Raw will have their own respective tag team titles again, which honestly I don't think is a bad thing.
Considering how many good tag teams they have right now that are on the main roster, it probably is warranted. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've seen this little mini revival of tag team wrestling in the WWE, and obviously we all know that Vince was not a fan of tag team wrestling, where I believe Triple H is a fan of tag team wrestling. So the way they beat it over the head with that on Monday Night, CZ, you're absolutely correct. They're gonna flip. They're gonna split these belts here. This is gonna be. I love a good spot fest. I've always loved Money in the Bank, TLC matches, anything like that. These teams, these people in this match, they're just gonna go crazy. I'm looking for like DIY to do some crazy stuff. I guarantee you Austin Theory and Grayson Waller are probably going to take some insane bumps. I'm going to throw out a wild card. Is there any chance there's a mystery team in this match?
A seventh team.
Rob Kamerer saying no.
Oh, no. I'm saying delete.
Oh, he's saying delete.
No. I'm pointing there here, baby.
Regal's
Detroit,
calling for the Motor
Michigan.
City Machine Guns. Kamerer's calling for the Hardys.
Machine Guns.
I
could get behind both of them.
I would go insane if they do like they did a couple years ago with the Hardys, and so have Aldis or Pierce come out. There's a added special team to this match, and out comes Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, the Motor City Machine Guns, debuting in the WWE.
I think they're gonna sign with the Tony Khan Brigade. Sorry to burst that bubble, but that would be cool. I love the Guns.
It would be cool. Rod, what do you see? How do you see this tag match shaking out? Who's your pick to win this one?
Well, I believe it's going to be a complete and utter chaos match, but I feel like they're gonna at least leave Priest and Baylor with a set. I think CZ's right. They're going to break these up. But who gets the other belts? I honestly, it's a toss-up in this one. Because you can make a case for just about every single one of these guys. I do like that Stryker saying Awesome Truth is going to have the belts. I'm sorry, but both of those guys are just in there for comedic relief at this point.
Oh no, one of the if CZ is right with this theory, they're absolutely. I thought they were going to win the match anyway, but they're winning one of the two sets of titles. You know what? Oh my God, the second light bulb moment. By the way, I had a great satire joke, Nick. I'm sorry, but I can't let this sit in my mind. Regal mentioned Vince McMahon not liking tag team wrestling. It's because he liked an entirely different type of tag team wrestling. Anywho, moving forward.
Family show.
Hide the kids. Sorry. So our own wizard. That's how great the For Frequency's Sake podcast network is that we can employ a wizard. He's a literal wizard.
He's a wizard.
He mentioned on that Michael Cole, good old Maggle, mentioned that both tag titles have to be brought down for the match to end. They also went out of their way the other night. I saw this clip. Michael went out of his way to make sure that he mentioned that our good friend and yours, Ron Killings, has never won a match at WrestleMania. R-Truth is definitely going to pull down only one of the sets of titles, and he's going to go nuts thinking the match is over, right? We are 18-wheeler, full steam ahead, locomotive through the monster truck through the abandoned RV. We are full bore for that. And then who wins the other set? I've got no idea.
I know who I want to see. I've got two teams that I could see coming away with the other title. One of them is just wishful thinking because of my love for Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, but I would love to see DIY. I would love to see them win the SmackDown titles and get moved over to the Blue brand. But I would also make a big case for New Catch Republic. I think they're on fire right now. Bate and Dunn are just fantastic, and I can really see them coming away getting that second set of belts.
I can't get behind the bruiserweights. I don't know what it is about that style. It just makes me go, what are we watching here?
DJ
this
just popped
match is going to be so much fun. I'm glad it's on Saturday night. I'm glad it's on night one. I said I wanted the ladies to lead off the show. If Rhea and Becky don't lead off the show, this better lead off the show. This is going to be so much fun. Pray for Grayson Waller. Pray for Austin Theory. They may both die during this match. I don't see those guys walking away with the titles. They're going to take the brunt of the heavy bumps.
They're going to take the Sin Cara bumps.
Yes, the Sin Cara bumps. But I think R-Truth, just his reaction and winning will be worth it, and I think it will be worth the laugh. I see R-Truth and Miz getting one set of the belts. The other set, I think, is up in the air. I just don't think Grayson Waller and Theory will win because they'll be too busy dead over in the corner.
But DJ's idea here trumps my theory. R-Truth is going to pull down literally one title and end up tag champs with like Grayson Waller who gets the other. That would be so goddamn funny. Like the R-Truth stuff at times it's like heinous. But he has been on an immaculate heater the last couple years. Like since the 24/7 title became a thing, he went from insufferable to like actually hilarious. And I will tell you, I don't think I've laughed at an R-Truth thing so hard other than at the Royal Rumble because Jesus Christ, that was gold. Like some of the stuff he does is stupid.
Hot tag
at
The crowd. He got the crowd to get into the hot tag, and the commentary was so good. It was so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, like
he's such a good sport, though. I love that he doesn't mind being the comedic relief in it. You know, it always makes it more fun when a guy's in on it and just embraces it.
That's how you make the money long term. Like, and he doesn't have to destroy his body. Like, he could have stinkers of matches, and no one's going to care because he's getting the hot tag in the Royal Rumble. R-Truth is a national treasure, and I will advocate for him to get all the belts just by himself. He is a one-man tag team champion, and then he can proclaim himself tag team champs with his childhood hero John Cena. He's right here Like
Yes.
we can't see it,
can't
so it's
see
fine.
Yes.
I
I'm telling you,
that one
Rob,
up.
Rob, you're onto something there. He has done all this without really putting his body on the line. He's been a thorn in the Judgment Day's side, and he's only gotten like one severe beatdown. He's done such a great job.
Go to
with it.
commercial.
I think he needs to be rewarded for taking the ball and running with this, in my opinion.
I've said forever that R-Truth is like the Hall of Fame speech I can't wait for one day, because that Hall of Fame speech is going to be absolutely epic.
Dude, that's
Rod, I know you have to. Rod, I know you have to step out here. Thank you so much for joining us. You're welcome back to talk wrestling anytime, my friend.
Oh, I appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. I don't get to talk wrestling very often. I'm knee deep in NASCAR and football and all kinds of other crazy stuff. So this was a lot of fun. I'm so glad that you guys invited me on. So I'll do it again anytime you guys want.
Rod, you're welcome. RVG, you're welcome back here anytime. RVG.
Mr. Wednesday night.
Mr. Wednesday night. I like that.
So I was gonna say, there we go. I think nope, that ain't it. This is it right here. There we go.
Yeah, but
it
cuts off people's names, so we're gonna go back to this one.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I said so. It's my show, Joe.
Now it's
This is
3
my
on.
show.
I know. I'm sorry. I was trying to help. I was trying to help.
He already changed the rules. I thought this was going to be a triple threat tag match, and then he sends me a text the other day like, "It's a scramble, bro. Swerve." I'm like, "Oh."
It's a scramble, bro. That's funny. No, like R-Truth, I hope he's gonna make this match feel like it's gonna be a mix of a serious WrestleMania match, a crazy spot fest, and with the comedic value of like those 10-man tag team matches on like the end of PWG shows where everyone's just doing dumb shit, where you have like Jushin Thunder Liger starting to like thumb in the butt train and stuff, or when they're wrestling in slow motion. Like that type of stuff won't happen, but it will be the perfect blend of everything. Sorry, I had to get a PWG stick in there. That was my childhood.
that was my favorite like cluster tag match, is the Jushin Liger one where he's demanding the thumb up the bum.
Yeah. Or Tommaso Ciampa standing in the corner singing "I Believe I Can Fly." So good.
Now, Rob, I know you are a big fan of battle royals. Is it a shame that the Andre the Giant battle royal is just an afterthought now? They put it on SmackDown on Friday nights. You think it should be on one of these Mania nights?
Well, that was tradition before they turned it into the Andre. It used to be like the pre-show battle royal to get everybody a paycheck, WrestleMania paycheck. And so, like, I definitely think it kind of negates some of the specialness if it's just on a regular show while still calling it the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I mean, I'm glad they're still having it in general. Again, anytime you can get everybody a payday, it's great. But also, to be realistic, they've never made the Andre to be terribly prestigious. They've always kind of just pooped on the winner like as soon as they won it. So
it really felt like the first few years of it, they had an idea. Like Cesaro won it in this cool way. And then he teamed up with Paul Heyman, and then they screwed it up because back then they screwed everything up. The next year, it wasn't the next year Big Show won it, which we all get it. And then the year after that, it was Baron Corbin while he was like still in between being called up from NXT. So like all felt right. And then ever since then, like they were just like, well, no one, I guess we can't book a winner. We can't book the winner of this, right? And so it means no one cares about it, which means now we don't care about it. So, yeah.
Well, gentlemen, let's take this time to take a quick time out, do our sponsorship gig, and pay homage to other shows on the network as well as our sponsors here. We'll be right back.
Football season may be over, but for frequency's sake, still has you covered for all your sporting needs. Tune in every Sunday when the best professional wrestling podcast around, Cards Subject to Change, gets you caught up on everything inside the ropes. They won't miss a count with weekly analysis and interviews. More into auto racing? We've got a double dose for you on the track. Tune in to Fast Money with Rod VIllagomez each week and win some money with the quickest bets in all of sports. Want more insight from Pit Row? Check out the Green, White, and Checkered podcast where they give their insight on everything happening on and off the track. Need your basketball fix? Points in the Paint has you covered with live shows every other week looking at everything in the association. Backed by popular demand, we have the return of The Payoff Pitch, FFSQC's baseball show, covering you on news around the MLB. If you're missing football, don't fret. Mark and Dan still have you covered in the football lounge. Missing Joe WInkel? Probably not, but he's still here talking sports on Educated Ignorance. Football season might be over, but we've still got you covered. For frequency's sake, you know what we mean.
For Frequency's Sake is brought to you by Durham Remodeling, serving the Quad City area's remodeling and repair needs since 1973. Clint's Draft House, grab a bite and a pint. 7th Street Moline. Low Pies, New York-style pizza served up by the slice or pie, Davenport. Lifted Energy, energy drinks, coffee, donuts, and more. #GetLifted. Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles. Sports cards and memorabilia, vintage clothing, hats, pennants, and more. Ryan Allison Tattoo. Step into the vibrant world of tattoos with Ryan Allison. And A Cut Above, offering quality custom woodwork designed specifically around our customers.
Welcome back to the show. This is our Card Subject to Change big panel Wrestlemania preview, both night 1 and night 2. We talked night 1 in the first segment. If you missed it, you're going to have to go back and catch it. You missed some great stuff on there. I am never wrong, Nick Bull, joined, of course, by my tag team partner, the Wizard CZ. Joining us on the panel still, Rob Kamerer from MLW Confusion podcast. We've got Tim Regal, the play-by-play voice of SCWPro. And from the Educated Ignorance podcast, we've got Joe the Show WInkel. CZ, we talked night 1, of course, in the first segment. Night 2 has the big main event, but what else is catching your eye on that night 2 card on Sunday?
Well, let me kind of start things off by what's not catching my eye, if you don't mind.
No, go. That, whatever. Yeah.
We have the Pride versus the Final Testament in a Philadelphia street fight. Now, I'll challenge any one of you to hype me up on this match, but I think I haven't really been invested. I don't care about the build for this match, and I'm really not invested in either of these teams going in.
I'd rather drink motor oil than be invested in a Karrion Kross match.
Scarlett Bordeaux's at ringside. Is that something we might be interested in?
That's enough to get me there, Regal. I'm not complaining, but CZ, that's apparently not enough for him.
Listen, man. Some people want a lot of things, and some people are simplistic men. And Regal is a simplistic man, and I appreciate that.
Hey, everybody that knows me, for any love of the time, knows that I am a Scarlett Bordeaux fan. So I'm always going to be there for that. But yeah, this match, I really want to like Karrion Kross. Like, when he was in Lucha Underground and then Impact, I thought that this guy really had something. And then he got to WWE. And
the bell rings.
It's just literally. And then the bell has to ring, and there's just nothing there. Like, he has everything that you think the pro wrestler should have, but it's just not there.
It worked great when the pandemic was hot, when no fans were there. And then Adam Cole absolutely eviscerated him on the mic, and no one has cared about him since.
I thought his run in NXT was not bad, but you're right. He's gotten into the WWE, and especially on the main roster, there's just no reason for me to care about Karrion Kross, and that's unfortunate because I like him. I want to like him. I want to root for him, but they haven't given me a reason.
Rob, any interest in this match at all? Can you convince CZ to watch this match?
Because I am not high on this match. Like, the only person in this match that I enjoy is Montez Ford in general. Like, he entertains me. Like, Bobby Lashley can have a good match. I'll give him that. But, like, I'm very choosy with my Bobby Lashley matches. But, like, yeah, this match doesn't do much to me because I've never been high, except when Paul Ellering was involved. I've never been high on AOP. Karrion Kross, frustrates me because, he's so creative in his presentation. And then the bell rings and he's bland AF. Like, sometimes he's okay if he faces someone, a lot smaller than him. But the problem is he's, just a little bit bigger than me. and that's tiny in the WWE, despite the influx of indie talents over the years. So yeah, like I'm not psyched for this match. So like I'm sorry, I'm not going to be changing CZ's mind outside of let's see how high Montez Ford can jump.
So we're all in agreement that this is the piss break match, right? This is
correct.
We're to get up and walk away and take a piss and not miss anything.
I feel like there's a world that exists where this is going to start night 2.
Oh,
right?
You shut your mouth. You
That's what I'm
shut your
worried
mouth right now.
What I'm worried about.
Like,
you know what? Joe, I see where you're coming from there. I can
What
see
other
that
match? That's what what other? I mean, you could, I guess, LA Knight or the U.S. Triple Threat, but I don't think you want to have Logan Paul curtain jerking.
If it were me, if it were me booking, I'd have LA Knight and AJ Styles open the show.
Probably shouldn't a trio of Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits be much more cool, right?
Yes,
you would think so.
Sad.
Yeah.
Can I throw a hot take out?
Go ahead.
Go for it.
I'm first team hot take, so go for it.
Shouldn't a teaming of Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, wouldn't they come off better as heels?
They tried technically, didn't they? And it did not work. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought they were heels.
They were supposed to be heels, and somehow they just turned babyface. This should have been a big deal, and it's kind of fallen flat. And I just, like I said, I want to like Karrion Kross, but Karrion Kross and AOP, just it ain't it. Like I said, I'm here for Charlotte, and that's pretty much it on this one. I'm just going to throw it out there. The night 1 card has way more of my interest than the night 2 card.
Yes.
Outside of the main event.
I would agree with you there, Regal. Totally. Like, I know Sunday's got that big main event, but like Sunday, they've got their work cut out for them, don't they? I mean, especially after Saturday, in my opinion, just the way the matches are. Sunday, just can we fast forward to the end? That's kind of my feeling.
Seth and Drew should be good. It'll be cool to see Drew, even as a heel. It'll be nice to see Drew get the moment in front of people that he didn't get because of Coroni Baloney. So that'll be nice. But yeah, I agree. I'm not really. Night 2 is going to be a bit of a drag. But isn't this the theme since they've gone to 2 nights? Night 1, even the one in the Performance Center. Night 1 is body bagged. Night 2, it seems. Every year.
Night 1 seemed to be better. I know night 2 will perform, and it's not completely poo-poo, but it's got its work cut out for itself, in my opinion, compared to night 1. I think night 1 is just going to be one of the most fun nights of wrestling that we can remember.
Now, night 2 last year, altogether last year could have and should have been, because I remember last year, night 1 was like one of the best 5 or 6 WrestleMania nights, period. And night 2 was going to make it maybe the greatest Mania since 17. But then, we had Rubber Chicken Gate. So hopefully we don't get that this year.
Well, and I guess my thought is too, I mean, not that, again, like on paper, most of the matches aren't going to be bad or anything, but there's just not a whole lot of good hype about it.
Correct.
But could you argue like this was by design, especially if we're looking at coronating Drew or Cody, especially Cody at the end of it?
Good point, Rob.
Do you really want the crowd to like be really tired when we get the overbooked mess of the main event?
That's a great point. And you probably, yes. I would expect they'll probably they'll probably try to pace it to a degree where like the Io Bailey match is like the second match. The Seth Drew match is like so what is there right now? 6. That's probably the 4th. And then in between Seth and Drew and the main event, you probably stick the 6-man tag match. If I had to guess, that's how they try to pace it out. Because those 2 world title matches, and the Io versus Bailey match are all going to be like very emotional, very high dramatic, moments probably.
I do think the Io Bailey match is going to be fantastic. This is Bailey's popularity is huge. It's honestly probably might be the most popular most over she's been in her career. The babyface turn was perfectly executed. Io is an absolutely amazing worker in the ring and just has that natural charisma. I think those two ladies, especially after we get the killer match on night one, they're going to want to go. They're going to want to go out and absolutely kill it on night two. That match could end up stealing the entire show.
You answered my question right there. Is that the show stealer of the night?
Yeah, I think this is going to be the better of the two women's matches. Striker in the chat on YouTube asked, "What is everyone's most anticipated match on both nights?" Low key for me, it's this one. I've always been an artist formerly known as Io Shirai fan. I think this match is going to be awesome. Here's another question for the class because I'm a man of questions. What are the odds that we get A, the babyface Bailey theme song, and B, the inflatable used car salesman float-em-a thingamajig? We're getting those, right?
Where's Byron Saxton when we need him?
And doesn't it seem like she's been growing her hair out more recently so she can put it up in a ponytail? I'm just saying. I would not. I kind of think
bring Izzy back too.
Yeah, no shit. I kind of think and would hope that we get like full gimmick babyface Bailey on Sunday because that would be neat.
It very well could happen that they could be saving that for Mania, and it would get a pop in Philly for sure.
Oh my God, yes, it would.
Is there any chance we get Bailey wrestling in shorts?
Oh my God!
Please.
Only if Batista's there.
I just had to throw it out there.
Disgusting. Y'all are sick.
The plus 5,000 better than not. Bailey wrestles in shorts. Hey, Doc just said she tried to get her to do it for years.
And I thought my Vince McMahon liked tag team wrestling joke was bad.
Let me throw this out to the room here. Let's step aside from matches for just a second. We're talking about Bailey possibly coming out as the Hugger Bailey with the inflatable tube men. WrestleMania is known for entrances. I want to hear your speculation. Who's going to have the entrance that just kills it this weekend? Regal, let me start with you.
If I had to guess,
are we excluding? We're excluding Cody, Roman, and The Rock, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You already know, though, on night one, we already know that The Rock, by the way, shout out to The Rock. He reads the tweets. Obviously, he did it with the Versace vest and glasses, but he read the tweets. He knew we all wanted the early 2000s Hollywood heel theme song back, and he did it. Shout out to him. He's a maniac. But you already know Rock and Roman and Cody are going to have crazy entrances, and Seth is going to come out riding like a Gucci mint like coated like horse or some shit. It's going to be so insane, and he's going to be wearing like something that makes him look like he's 15 feet tall. I bet unicorn. Seth has the most egregious. Yes, he's going to be on a unicorn. Sorry, Regal. What do you think the best entrance will be of the two nights?
I mean, if we're not counting the fact that I cannot wait to see what they're going to do for a Bloodline entrance on night one. Seth's entrance at some point, like you said, will be insane. Trying to think if there's somebody like down card who I haven't thought of that could.
Our boy Striker has a good. He has a good idea here.
Yeah,
he thinks Jade will have a pretty good one, which I could see that happening.
Yeah, I could get behind that.
That 6 women is going to be the Jade Cargill show. So yeah, that would probably be my pick. Would be some type of a spectacular entrance for Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill is getting carried to the ring by like shirtless men oiled up with masks on, right?
So that's where the boys went. I thought they were eaten by bears.
Johnny TV sold him to WWE.
Oh, we need a simulcast of Dalton Castle as the boys come out with Jade and just watching him lose it.
They're gonna cut to him. They're gonna cut to him. They're gonna cut to him in the front row, a la the dude who was shocked after the Undertaker lost in WrestleMania, and he's gonna be like, "Oh,
there is the true forbidden door right there."
And then
Dalton Castle on WWE TV.
And then the crowd is gonna start chanting, "It's Jade Cargill and the boys." It's gonna be so good.
I know Meek Mill and Lil Wayne are performing. Will Rhea Ripley get a live performance, a live play to the ring? I don't know if whoever sings her theme song would be available, but Rhea Ripley would be my vote to have a big dramatic entrance.
I'm gonna guess on night 2 we're getting Downstate playing there live to play Cody out.
Okay.
That'll be cool.
Oh, I don't know. I hope not, because they kind of sound like shit live. Just let it be normal and let the crowd take over. The crowd singing is so much better because the crowd know the words to the song now. It'll be great. Don't let them come play live, because when they did it in AEW, it sounded like shit. Sorry, just gonna be honest.
Actually, as much as we kind of trashed him before, if Karrion Kross actually has free reign over his entrance, I could see him pulling out something interesting too, because that's for me always been his thing is he does all this creative stuff to before the match, getting to the match. So now he has a WrestleMania budget and he's a Triple H guy. He could probably take over as Triple H's successor for weird, stupid entrances that don't actually make sense with the match, but whatever, we're gonna do it anyway. Sure, let's bring out the Terminators. I don't know, why not? Hey, okay.
He's gonna come out on a motorcycle, riding a motorcycle.
He's gonna be carried to the ring with a giant raven while Scarlett rolls down
Scarlett Bordeaux is lip syncing. He's gonna be carried by a raven.
She's doing somersaults down the 800-foot ramp as he's being flown in by a giant raven.
Does anybody do a Bray Wyatt tribute entrance?
Ooh.
Jey Uso could have that big entrance too.
I bet he gets, if anybody gets played by an artist, I bet Lil Wayne does a freestyle over Jey Uso's song.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I was gonna
I would absolutely love, and this is maybe a hot take, and I don't have anything envisioned for it, but I'd love to see some kind of fantastic entrance from one LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. But no, I agree.
I imagine Logan Paul too is going to have something weird going on too. He's going to have an 800-foot. He's going to have the largest inflatable bottle of Prime we've ever seen or something. they're going to hologram a la Bray Wyatt's worms, but they're just going to
hologram Prime bottles. No,
they're going to hologram his Pikachu Pokemon card on the center of the ring as he's being led to the ring with giant Prime bottles.
No, stop. It's Randy Orton's going for the RKO. He's doing the thing, and the lights go out, and the hologram comes up, and it's just people drinking Prime. And he's like, what the fuck?
Randy Orton RKOs every Prime bottle imaginable that just pops up. It's one of those old arcade games. They're fighting holograms, or it's one hit, and they just disappear. It's just Randy just pops up, RKO, a hologram, it just disappears. Kips up another one.
The sad thing is we're joking, but it's WWE, so it could actually happen.
That would be so funny. Actually happen. That'd be so great. Oh my gosh. That would be
I
amazing.
hope I have as much fun on both nights of Mania as I'm having right now, because I hope all the stuff that we predicted comes true.
I was gonna say something logical for him, he'll get airdropped from a helicopter or something, Logan Paul. But yeah, Rob coming in off the top rope, Macho Man style, with the inflatable Prime, and that was fantastic.
See? And yet I didn't get hired when I applied to the WWE as a writer.
Didn't last year?
Shame on them.
Wasn't KSI out there in a Prime mascot outfit?
Yeah.
So someone is going to be in the Prime mascot outfit and they're going to take a stunner into an RKO. That's absolutely happening.
Yeah, Randy Orton will RKO Pride model. That is the thing that will happen.
I
What,
believe it.
our gambling guy left. What were the Vegas odds on that happening?
Oh, shit.
About
RBG
minus-
will have to get
minus
back
two-
to us on that one.
Just checked, minus 250. just checked Joe Duel and Wink Kings Network. Yeah, those are
Wink
minus
Kings.
two. Those are
We've got
minus 250 on both.
We've got AJ Styles, LA Knight. We've got the six-person street fight. We've got EO and Bailey. What are we miss? What else are we missing on night 2?
Let's not
The
overstate
triple threat
how
for the
AJ
US title.
Styles is yoked, by the way. That man is on. My man is eating a well-balanced breakfast. Shout out to AJ Styles.
He almost
And
looks like
and
Zac
Wendy.
Efron on the Iron Claw. He's getting to that status.
Maybe that's who trained him. Hey, listen, maybe Wendy is just bringing him breakfast in bed every morning.
Maybe.
And shout out to Wendy.
Wendy.
I was hoping someone was going to do that.
Throwback to the real final boss, Samoa Joe, and his time in the WWE.
Goated. Yeah, no, that's I think for night 1 or night 2, they'll have a lot to back up. But listen, last year night 2 in comparison to night 1 was a bit low. But then, but granted, I guess they did have it more evened out in a sense, because last year on night 2, you did have Asuka versus Bianca, which granted that match was a bit weird, and they've never had a good match with each other, which is weird. You did have the Sheamus, Drew, and AFK Walter triple threat, which was incredible.
Instant
And then
classic.
of course you had the main event, which was great until a rubber duck got involved, or rubber chicken got involved. So listen, night 2 could be pretty good because it'll have more like moments of, triumph in a sense. But I think night 1's going to be like, we're going to get to the old, Neverland Ranch out there, or whatever you call your house nowadays, Nick.
The Highview Lounge.
And we are going to feel like we are hooked up to adrenaline for 3 hours.
Yeah.
It will be batshit crazy, especially if that six tag match or whatever starts the show. We will be on from the moment the jump starts.
Here's kind of how I look at it.
Yep.
Night 1 is the in your face, everything you want to see night. Night 2 is we're going to stir some emotions out of you night, in my opinion.
That's a fair
Speaking
assessment.
Speaking of emotion, I'm going to throw one more wild card theory to you guys.
All right.
Picture, if you will. Main event. Cody wins. Crowd is going bananas. Cody gets up. He's celebrating. The referee goes to hand him the Universal Championship. And just before it gets to his hands, bam! Money in the Bank briefcase to the back of the head. Fabian Priest cashes in.
Ew.
Wins the world title. Cody never touches the title. Fabian Priest pulls off the crime of the century. And Cody finished one story, but now we have another one.
I would need a bath. I need a bath right now.
You would need a bath after PB went choppy.
I mean, at least he would have pinned Roman, but I'm going to go shower after this now, like twice, back to back.
I will only
one in
accept
my
your-
upstairs one and one in my downstairs one, just because that just sounds gross.
I'm glad
I will
Regal
only
brought that-
accept
I'm
this if
glad
there are
Regal brought
2
that
rubber
up.
chickens thrown in the ring.
Yes, so there will be multiple. So if that happened, everyone would be chucking a rubber chicken.
But I'm glad Regal brought up the possible cash in, because everybody believes, he could cash in on Drew, but no one's even really thought if he cashed in on Cody.
Or, well, I mean, wouldn't it be like a great irony if he cashes in the middle of the Seth Drew match, just like Seth did at WrestleMania?
Oh, so I don't know if I spilled this to you guys, but I spilled this to a friend forever. When they were gonna do Seth versus CM Punk, my thought process was, we are doing this to give CM Punk his main event moment, which is great. Which now is ironic because if everything happened the way it happened, we probably don't get the he doesn't have a main event, or the Rock stuff never happens. Anywho, he gets his main event moment. It would have felt like the perfect time to shoe in the cash in, be either in the match as a cool little, hey, here's a little thing, like you said, it's a little ironic that it happened to Seth in the middle of the match like he did it, or CM Punk beats Seth, and then the next night he loses it to Damian Priest because CM Punk doesn't care about putting people over. He doesn't care, and he would want to do it. It would make sense, blah, blah, blah. But since Punk got hurt, like, we're closing in on the allotted time for the Money in the Bank contract. I'm going to act like CM Punk and act like I'm looking at a fake watch. But I'm not going to say it's clobbering time. I'm going to say we're running out of time. I don't know what we're going to do with the briefcase, but because we're on borrowed time, for a lack of better terms, with how much runway we have to try to land this. So yeah, the more days that go on, the more it seems like they really goofed up by not having Finn win at SummerSlam so Damian could cash in to beat him, and then, but I don't know, whatever.
No, you're absolutely right. We're running out of time for Priest to cash in, and you got to wonder as we get closer and closer, if he doesn't cash in this weekend, is he going to cash in and fail?
At this point, you would think, right? Like,
yeah,
it would be cool if he cashed in on Sunday for the sake of, like, hey, just like Seth had it, he won it, he loses it in this way. But I feel like at this point, anything that doesn't end in Drew McIntyre winning that match on Sunday night will feel like a waste, especially with all the shit he's doing with Punk. And like, they had that segment not on this Raw this week, but the one last week when in Chicago. Like, if Drew doesn't win that match on Sunday, then that would be very odd.
I agree.
Night 2 will have its moments. The cash-in looms large over the Seth and Drew match. Also, it could loom large over the main event. We talked earlier in the show how the main event is going to be an absolute circus, a 3-ring circus that we're all going to be tuned in for with our popcorn. I've heard the comparison online. The Avengers are going to assemble. Are we going to see the likes of Stone Cold, John Cena? Do we see a Diamond Dallas Page? Will AEW loan out Dustin Rhodes in case Cody does win for the celebration? That's one thing I've kind of thought about. Will Dustin be present if Cody wins? I
thought about that too, because I thought about that he was going to give – someone said that he's going to probably give the belt to his mom there at ringside. It would be really cool if Dustin was there too,
I agree.
Like TK allowed Billy Gunn to go to the Hall of Fame last year or whatever. I would really hope that he would allow Dustin to be there for it. That would be – I hope we see that.
Well, we got the final boss. Is there any chance we see the, as she would call herself, the final, and I'm not going to say that last part, but does Brandy do a run-in on this match? If there's ever a time for a Brandy appearance, it's got to be WrestleMania, right?
Why has Brandy not cut a promo on The Rock yet? Come on now.
I keep waiting. You're the final boss, I'm the final bitch is literally the ultimate, like, that's the perfect Brandy promo.
She's definitely going to kick The Rock in the nuts this weekend, right?
That needs to happen.
It would be cool. It'd be neat. I'd pop for it.
As we wind down our panel show here, let's go around the room and get final thoughts from everybody. Rob, I'm going to start with you. Final thoughts on WrestleMania this weekend, what you're looking forward to what you're expecting?
I mean, as we put it, like night one from bell to bell is probably going to be absolutely amazing. Like we've got the combination of car crashes to the spectacles to what could be 5-star matches, or 7 or 8 or 9 if we're in the Dome and AEW or New Japan or whatever. But night two is going to try to hit us in the fields, because we got Drew McIntyre is likely winning. We have the culmination of Bailey versus Damage Control, and then of course the main event. And despite some of my misgivings and just how bored I am in general with the whole bloodline thing, like I am going to sit there with bated breath to see how it goes, because one way or another things are going to explode after that main event, whether it's whether Cody finishes his story, or we have worst case scenario and Roman's reign continues, which will also be great just because I want to watch the internet burn in the process of it.
You'd have to peel me off the floor of Nick's garage. I would be like, what on earth?
If Roman wins, somebody better be rolling a camera at Lopez, because the reaction from me is going to be worth it.
Nuts,
but I just Agent of Chaos. I like watching things burn, but overall, I do want to see how that match will turn up, because we all agree it's also going to be a car crash, because every single member of the Bloodline is going to interfere. There's rumored new members of the Bloodline hiding in the shadows that we've never gotten confirmation, officially speaking, whether those are true or not. Will we have ghosts of Roman's past come to cut him off? We still have, Jey Uso running around as a Maverick Oos with an axe to grind.
Maverick Oos. It sounds like a Top Gun name. Will Alpha and Sika take a bump on WrestleMania Night 2?
Well, Alpha's definitely not. But
who were the two guys that gave him the lay a couple years ago? Anywho, my bad.
But I just say Alpha's been sick lately, so I don't think he's doing much. But yeah, regardless of what happens in that main event, it's the spectacle of it all is going to be the epitome of WrestleMania is.
Regal, I'm going to turn it to you. Final thoughts on this weekend coming up.
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm already deep into the Mania weekend of Mania. There's already some shows. This is honestly the most hyped up I've been for a WWE part of WrestleMania in probably 3 or 4 years, probably since before COVID. And I think it's been built great. And like everybody says, WrestleMania is WrestleMania, man. It's a spectacle. It's I always say, even for the most hardcore jaded fan like myself, I try to, take the smark out for a few hours and just try to enjoy the ride. And I think they've done a great job where they're going to put us in that mindset this year. And I'm looking forward to this card. I think there's a lot of potential here, and really excited to see what the new guard is going to pull out on this Mania.
Absolutely. Joe?
Yeah, to Regal's point, this is the most I've been really excited for a WrestleMania weekend in a while. I think the only thing, I'm usually, it always comes around and you get the itch and you're ready. Last year I wasn't really feeling it. The year before that, that was the one in Texas. I was excited because we all kind of knew that Cody was probably going to show up for the Seth match, and that happened, and that was really cool. And you have some underrated gems on that one, like the Johnny Knoxville Sami Zayn thing was actually funny and it worked. The Stone Cold Kevin Owens thing somehow worked. Since WrestleMania 35, I remember I was geeked for that one. That's the one that had Kofi and Becky and Seth all winning. But since then, we obviously had the old Demi, so that kind of put a damper on a lot of stuff. But I'm excited for it, and considering 8 weeks ago I was thinking I would be insanely disinterested because it felt like they were making every wrong turn. They have some, which they find a way to do. They have course corrected, and for whether it was planned or not, and that's the unknown question that we'll always have. But honestly, who cares? Because it should be exciting. It's gonna be a thrill. Shout out to to old VKM being gone, because you don't have to have these. We don't have to have any crazy gimmick this year, like the most stupendous 2-night extravaganza or whatever. It's just WrestleMania. So, it'll be cool. I will be excited to see like a little thing for me. I like how the presentation of it. I feel like since old K Dunn left, presentation is at a level that it's never been at in the E. And I am ecstatic to see what it looks like, what Monday Night Raw's production, which usually is pretty darn good now, what that will look like on a WrestleMania stage, since old Bucktooth isn't there anymore. I'm excited for that. I'm just excited for the whole weekend to hang out with our good friends and enjoy life together. It should be a doozy. This was fun, and this weekend should be just as fun. And who knows? Sunday, we're either all going to be excited and crying, or we're all going to be crying because we're going to be pulling our eyes out. Who knows?
Nick, what are your final thoughts, my friend?
I really enjoyed last year's WrestleMania. Closet's probably one of my all-time favorites. I just loved how everything flowed last year, and I think this Mania has the possibility to blow that out of the water. Night 1 is going to be a roller coaster. Night 2 is going to be all about the motion and the storylines, and I think it's a perfect balance. I really do. You can't have a night 1 both nights, or and I just can't wait to unplug for 4 hours Saturday night, 4 hours Sunday night, and just hang out with friends and enjoy. I mean, it is the most wonderful time of the year if you're a wrestling fan. We had Regal on for the independent, shows. I'm kicking off my WrestleMania weekend tomorrow afternoon, watching Bloodsport, getting off work early and going to go watch that. And I'm excited for that. And I'm just excited for all the shows. I'm excited for the unknown. We all look forward to the unknown. We all want to get popped. And at some point this weekend we will, and we'll all enjoy it. And I think when we, reconvene and talk about this show afterward, we'll be talking about 40 as one of the all-time greats.
I think you're right. I mean, for me, the last 2 years since the hype for Cody's return at 38 all the way up until now, things have just been on a roll and getting better and better as it goes on. I'm excited. I'm just excited, like Nick said, spending time with our friends, watching some good wrestling, and just coasting and enjoying the ride. That's what I'm looking forward to. And that being said, that's going to put a wrap on our panel show. I want to thank everybody. We've seen some big numbers on our viewership here. Thank you all for tuning in live. Do us a favor. If you're tuning in on X right now, go over to our YouTube page at CSTC Podcast. Check out our archives. Give us a like, share, and subscribe. We would love you for that. Also, can find us on Facebook, Card Subject to Change Podcast, Instagram at CSTC Podcast. For our expert panels, Rob Kamerer, Joe the Show WInkel, Tim Regal, and my tag team partner, Mr. Never Wrong Nick Bull. I am the Wizard.
And RVG, Rod VIllagomez.
RVG. Thank you, Nick. I knew I meant to mention his name and I forgot. I appreciate you getting the hot tag there. Tune in, everyone, on Saturday night. Post WrestleMania, we will do our Night 1 reaction show immediately following. And then you can catch us next Tuesday for our Night 2 and Raw After Mania reaction show. And then we get back on schedule. We've got a big month of April coming up, so stay tuned on socials for what we've got coming your way. Again, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you to our expert panel for joining us tonight. This has been Card Subject to Change, powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo, and now protected by Jared Zook, Country Financial. We will see you next time right here on Card Subject to Change.